Hello guys, welcome to Solving Solutions, your number one channel where you get solutions to all your solving problems. It's nice having you in class again today. How have you been? On today's tutorial, we are going to show you how to carry out batch processing. Now, batch processing helps you to carry out multiple tasks at once. It's more like an automated process. So we have some lines. They are actually isogonic lines of different years. So what we want to achieve is that we want to clip them to this extent of Nigeria boundary, right? Good. So instead of us to be doing them maybe 2010, 2015, 2020, 2025, one after the other, we can do them at once. So to achieve that, we come to vector. Then under vector, we go to Processing Tools, and then we click on clip. This clip will help us to clip the lines to the extent of what the boundary. However, we don't want to do them one after the other as we have said. So we come to run as a batch process. Now under this run as a batch process, we have different fields to consider. Now the first thing to consider is the input field. Now the input field will be the different years, right? Good. So let's start with 2010. Now when we start with 2010, we can decide to autofill, right? Good. So if we click on this autofill option, and then we go to select from open layers, then we want to actually select multiple layers aside 2010 because 2010 is here. So we go with 15, 20 and 25, right? Good. And then we click on OK. So it has actually auto-filled the different input layers, which is 2010, 2015, 2020 and then 2025. Then the overlay layer, which should be what the boundary to which we would want to clip, it's actually what dissolved, right? Good. But because of the autofill option, it has actually duplicated it. So if it is not duplicated, you can actually use this autofill and then maybe try to fill down, because this one is the same thing. So you can either fill down or you select from the open layer. And again, if it were not to be the same file that we want to use to clip the different lines, then for each of the lines you select what the overlay file that is to be used for the clipping, right? Good. So the input layers are actually different, but the overlay layer is actually the same, right? Good. Then for the output, which will be the clipped, we can use this to browse to a directory. Okay, we've navigated to a folder called batch processing. Let's have a folder called shp. That's shape files, right? Good. And then we open that up. So the save as type, it's giving us your package as default, but let's select shape file, and then can decide to call this 2010, and we click on save. Now the autofill option is coming up. It's asking us how do we want to autofill to the other fields. So what we do, instead of saying do not autofill, we'll go with use parameter values, right? Good. And then what parameter values are we using? The input layer. That's for this our input layer. So we click on OK. So you're now going to see, okay, the naming is a bit complicated, but you're now going to see 2010, 2015, 2020 and 2025, right? Good. So all of these are now to this our shp folder. So we now have about 4 files that are inside of that folder, which will now be representing the clipped version of what the different isogonic lines, right? Good. All clipped to the extent of what the Nigerian boundary, right? Good. So this is how you set up a simple batch process, right? Good. So when you have fixed all of these, you can run. So the process is completed. Now there is something we did not select, to load layers on completion. Now that's why you didn't see it here. So if we had actually selected load layers on completion, when the clipping has been done, we would see them here, right? Good. So to save you the stress, ensure you check load layers on completion. So let's import our data. So we go to layer, we go to add layer, then we have add vector layer. So we browse. Good. So we are on shp. So let's go to shape files. That's Esri shape files. So these are the 4 files, right? We do Ctrl A to highlight all of them, and then we open, add, and then we close. So basically these were the initial files that were projected outside the boundary of the country, and then these are the clipped files, right? Good. So they are now what projected towards the extent of the boundary. So this simply means that the clipping exercise has been done. Good. So if we zoom to the extent of the boundary, you won't see what the protruded lines outside of the boundary. So this is how you use QGIS to automate processes in a simple process called batch processing, right? Good. So with this, you can carry out multiple processes at once. So thanks for coming to class. We hope we have provided solution to this particular solving problem. We are going to see you on the next tutorial. Ensure you keep staying safe and have a fantastic time. Bye.